Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Durabilt chain binder. This particular model is going to be designed to work with 5/16 or 3/8 inch chain, and it's going to have a weight capacity or a safe working load limit of 7,100 pounds. We do carry a variety of different sizes for different chain sizes and weight capacities, so you can find your needs there on our site if this one doesn't quite fit what you're tying down. But this is going to be a great solution if you've got heavy equipment where a ratchet strap just simply isn't enough and you need to tie it down to the chain. This will provide a way to give tension to that chain and keep it nice and tight so that your cargo stays secure. Let's check it out. Now when it comes to chain binders, there are a couple different types. You might be familiar with the lever style, where you hook it up, throw the lever to provide that tension, and it can be really difficult to use. And especially when you're breaking that tension, they can kind of be dangerous if you don't keep your face clear, and depending on how much tension is on them. That's why we recommend using the ratcheting style. They're going to be a lot nicer, and really that's most of what we carry here at etrailer because it's just the better product. It's going to allow you to just flip the ratcheting mechanism, tighten down or loosen that chain binder to give you that slack to unhook it, or to tighten things down and keep your load secure. Overall, it's just safer and easier to use and just a lot more user-friendly. In the middle, you've got your barrel, and when you use that handle and the ratcheting mechanism, it will draw these screws in or out depending on whether you're tightening or loosening, and that's how you create tension on the chain. Now, in its fully open position, end to end with the hooks, you're looking at 31 inches, and fully collapsed, you're going to be looking at 23 inches, giving you a total travel or a take-up length of 8 inches. So pretty good wiggle room there when you're hooking up your chain. For now though, let's loosen it up. In the middle, you've got the pawl, which you can just flip with your hand to move it over to the tightening or the loosening position. That'll just control what direction the handle free spins, and in turn will push the whole mechanism around. So as I loosen it up here, you'll notice it's becoming easier and easier, and there's a lot more slack now present on the chain. You reach a point where you can just do it by hand the rest of the way. This will be much quicker. It is a bit of a forearm and wrist workout though, so if you're doing this for a lot of chain binders, just watch out for that. But that will allow you to take the hooks off of the end. Here we can see labeled clearly on the side the 5/16 and 3/8 inch chain diameters that it will work with. And when you're going to hook it up, all you got to do is pick out a link on your chain that you think you can pull it to. I recommend trying to get this as tight as possible. That way, out of the gate, there's a little less you've got to do putting into it. Right about there feels good. I'll flip the pawl in the center here to the tightening position, and I can start to just do this part by hand. This might take a bit of trial and error to find the right position to hook onto, but generally, if you feel it become hard to do by hand and you still got a decent amount of that screw showing, then you should have plenty of room to crank it the rest of the way, get things nice and tight so that your load doesn't shift. Now there's no need to over tighten this, this is chain, we don't want to put too much pressure on that metal, but when you're happy with it, it's not really moving around with any slack. I like to just position the handle down and into the middle of the trailer so it's out of our way. And I leave it in the tightening position so that as we're hitting bumps, it doesn't loosen itself up over time. Now, depending on the length of chain you're working with, you might have a ton of excess left over when you do tighten it down. And in that case, we can't leave it loose. We gotta wrap it around the barrel of the chain binder here, just feeding it under and over that handle a couple times. I don't think we can safely get it over a third time like that, but this at the very least is enough that it's not going to dangle outside the trailer, and I can wrap it over itself at least one more time like that so that it's bound up as best we can get it. You can always come back through with an extra strap or a zip tie or something to really keep it secure, but that'll take care of the rest so it's not moving freely around. Now, like I mentioned before, the binder does have a safe working load limit of 7,100 pounds, but keep in mind that's just what the binder is rated for, not necessarily your chain. So when tying down your stuff, you want to look at everything that you're using, the chain, the binder, any other chains and binders, and go by the lowest rated one. In addition to that, when we're using multiple chain binders, you can combine those safe working load limits. So that's a really great example for this one because it is one of the more light duty models. It's smaller, it doesn't have as big a weight capacity. And when tying down bigger, heavier equipment, you want to be really mindful of that. But maybe in that case, if it's not quite up to par, just use multiple. You know, in some cases, you might find that the best setup is 4 lengths of chain in each corner of your equipment, going down to each of the 4 corners, and each of those lengths of chain get their own chain binder. So if you're using 4 of these in total, you can combine those safe working load limits together for your equipment. Again, just check what you're tying down and always err on the side of caution. At the very least, we recommend using at least 2 of these, one for the front of your equipment and one for the rear. Overall construction here is pretty good. You've got zinc plating on the hooks and screws here. That's going to keep them really rust resistant over time. And you've got a pretty good quality powder coat over the barrel, the ratcheting mechanism, the pawl, and the handle. That may be a little bit more susceptible to getting scratched away over time, but if you keep an eye on it and maybe touch things up with a paint pen or something every now and again, it should be in good working order. Another thing is that handle is 15 inches long, so it gives you pretty good leverage when you are tightening things down so that you don't have to struggle with it nearly as much. But that's really all there is to it. Whether you're tying down some heavy vehicles, some construction equipment, or agricultural stuff, chain binders are a really great tool to have in your kit because when ratchet straps aren't enough, you're going to have to go to a chain. These particular ones from Durabilt I think are really well built, and if you don't need some of the crazy big ones that have really high weight capacities and you just need a couple of these smaller ones to get the job done, I think they're going to be really easy to use and certainly get the job done. Again, be sure to check our site for all the other sizes and weight capacities if these aren't quite up to your needs. But again, my name's Aiden here with eTrailer, and thank you for watching.